Recently, Joe Rogan had Jack Dorsey, the CEO of Twitter, Tim Pool, an independent journalist, and Vijay Gadde, a woman who basically decides who is going to get banned from Twitter and for what reason. Twitter has been in hot water in the past because they were banning conservatives and right-wing voices from their platform for no apparent reason, and that's why Joe Rogan invited them on the podcast. And Tim Pool, even though he is a left-winger himself, did an excellent job exposing these two on censorship of the right wing. There are countless examples of right-wingers getting banned from Twitter. That fact alone, that there isn't any prominent leftists who got banned from Twitter, should be enough for everyone to see that Twitter is biased in their banning based on the political opinion. And also, Vijaya Gadde said herself that people get banned if they misgender someone, so people now can get banned from Twitter if they refer to transgender people by their biological gender, which is just absolutely unacceptable. Here are some of the most prominent right-wingers who got banned from their Twitter: Alex Jones, Gavin McInnes, Tommy Robinson, Laura Loomer, Roger Stone, and many others. And not a single one of these people broke any rules of the Twitter policy, but they still got banned because they have wrong political beliefs. Everybody remembers when Alex Jones got banned from all the major social media platforms in just one day, so it's obvious that these companies all work together and they all have the same political beliefs, and they could ban everyone in the snap of the fingers if they want to. It's pretty disturbing how Twitter, one of the largest platforms for political discussion, can just get away with banning people because of their political beliefs. Meanwhile, the other side can get away with basically anything. For example, a Disney producer, Jack Morrissey, was threatening kids from Covington High School, saying that they should end up in the wood chipper, posting a photo of the wood chipper with a caption, "MAGA kids go screaming, hats first into the wood chipper." And even though this was a death threat towards the minors, this man still has an active Twitter account, and not just that, he still has a verified badge on his profile. And Kathy Griffin was publicly demanding that people dox Covington High School kids, and despite all that, she still has the Twitter account. Also, Antifa, a radical anarcho-communist group that regularly attacks free speech by shutting down conservatives on college campuses, still has an active Twitter account. This is a major reason why these social media giants have to be regulated, because it's obvious to everyone that they got too big now. So big, in fact, that they can influence the outcome of the elections around the world. And if one particular group of people are being censored from these platforms because of their political opinions, there is no other way than the government to start regulating them. Now let's take a look at this clip from Tucker Carlson where he calls out Twitter leadership on their hypocrisy. He also praises Elizabeth Warren for speaking out against the tech monopoly in America, and he also has a radio host, Jesse Kelly, to discuss these issues. Tucker has been speaking against tech censorship in the past, so it's interesting to see what he has to say.
Most of the Democratic Party is happily aligned with the interests of big tech, which funds their campaign. But there is one exception, at least Elizabeth Warren, believe it or not. Today, Warren unveiled a plan to break up the country's largest tech monopolies, Google, Amazon, Facebook, if she's elected president. Nobody's ever accused the show of carrying water for Elizabeth Warren, that's for sure. But when somebody says something smart and true, we want to be the first to congratulate that person. We are not partisans. We're just looking for people of good faith to make good decisions. And that would be a good decision. One of the main reasons it would be is because monopolies have immense power, and these monopolies use that power to censor unpopular speech, conservative speech almost always. A Twitter executive recently appeared on the Joe Rogan podcast and basically admitted that. Watch.
Your platform restricts speech.
Our platform promotes speech unless people violate our rules.
You're biased and you're targeting specific individuals because your rules support this perspective.
No.
Why are people being suspended for tweeting #LearnToCode?
Some of these tweets actually contained death threats, wishes of harm, other coded language that we've seen to mean death to journalists. So it wasn't about just the learn to code. It was about the context that we were seeing.
Come on, that's just not true. That's just not true. The editor-in-chief of the Daily Caller was suspended for tweeting nothing but #LearnToCode.
She's just lying. They all are. Jesse Kelly is the host of the Jesse Kelly radio show in Houston. He has himself been a victim of tech censorship, and we're proud to have him on tonight. Jesse, thanks very much for coming on. So what strikes you more, the willingness of Twitter and other social media companies to just censor things they don't like, or their complete lack of self-awareness when asked about it?
I think they're extremely self-aware, Tucker. They're aware of the fact that other than that interview right there and people like your show, nobody's going to ask them the tough questions. And I'm not surprised about them censoring. That's what totalitarians do. They censor things off. And we as conservatives had better wake up to the fact that we have a cultural war with socialism in the United States of America right now, and the socialists control all the supply lines, and conservatives wonder why we're starving to death.
That's exactly right. And I should say, I think I don't know the guy who asked the question. I think it's Tim Pool, and I think he's a leftist, but an honest one, and good for him. But you're absolutely right that they're never pressed on this by anybody except in the most sort of sensitive way, Robin Roberts interviewing Jussie Smollett kind of Why Are You So Wonderful way. And that confuses me because journalists have everything at stake in the First Amendment. They should be opposed to censorship. They usually have been. Why are they no longer opposed to it?
Because journalists want to be eaten last. All the journalists are socialists, just like the tech guys are, just like all the media is, just like Hollywood is. All the journalists just want to be aligned with the socialists that are in charge of the government at the end. But conservatives had better wake up, and they'd better realize that making your living just off these tech platforms is dangerous. It spells trouble. It's like inviting Ilhan Omar to your kid's bar mitzvah.
I mean, if only conservatives controlled a branch of government or a chamber of Congress, maybe someone would do something about it. I mean, why aren't the conservative office holders who wield power doing anything to protect their voters and America and the Bill of Rights itself?
Well, Tucker, they should. They should be treating these tech companies like publishers. They are publishers. They censor out conservatives. They only censor out conservatives. And they've never censored out liberals off there, so they should change their tax status. And that's what these tech companies are most scared of. But then again, you and I both know Congress is going to screw that up, too. Congress can't do anything right. Congress couldn't sell cat litter at an event for feminists.
I'm not allowed to laugh at that, so I'm not. I'm just going to nod. Like I don't even understand what you're saying. Okay, so if Elizabeth Warren comes out, who I don't think I haven't made a lifetime habit of complimenting, if she comes out and says, let's break up the tech companies, let's get this under control, why wouldn't Republicans ally with her in that one thing?
Because I think if you give Elizabeth Warren that kind of power, what's she going to grab next? Yeah, it sounds nice to break up Amazon and Google and these things that frankly, they scare me too, how big and powerful they are. And I know they scare you. But once you give Elizabeth Warren that kind of power, then that hungry animal's not going to stop there. She's going to start looking at people like you and me, and we're going to get eaten next.
You're going to break up your house. It's probably a fair point. You're a wise man. Jesse, great to see you. Thank you.